and welcome to www.collectingluxurywatches.com. And today we're talking two of my favourite topics, which is luxury cars and luxury watches. Doesn't get any better than this. And the correlation between cars, I mean, how many times have you heard Patek Philippe is the Rolls Royce of the watch industry? Men like to compare cars to watches and everything else in their life because cars and watches are two things that men absolutely love. And let's have a talk about some watches and what cars they would go with very nicely. So firstly, let's talk about one of Archie's favourite all-time pieces. It's from the Holy Trinity, and it's one of Archie's all-time favourite watches. And let's think car. Black Mercedes E-Class. It could only be white gold Patek Philippe Calatrava. The white gold Calatrava fits in beautifully with a modern Mercedes because the 5107 is really a modern Calatrava, modern size, but with that yesteryear charm to it. It's very modern. The size is 37mm, and it would have to go with a modern black Mercedes. I mean, it just would have to go. It just wouldn't go with a white Toyota Echo, for example. It would have to be a black Mercedes, and a top-of-the-range Mercedes at that as well. I mean, the Patek is white gold, opaline dial, automatic movement. It's just modern interpretation of what a Calatrava can be. And what's the best Businessman's Express that's available? Wow, it could only be the Mercedes E-Class. And that's what the Patek 5107 in white gold, the Calatrava, signifies. You would expect a Mercedes driver of a late model Mercedes to have a Patek or some sort of luxury watch there. Depending on the alloys, it would signify whether it was a sports version or whether he was a day-date owner. So classic charm, classic everything, Mercedes-Benz with Patek. Okay, Audemars Piguet Ultra Thin. We're thinking E-Type Jaguar. It's modern. It's 20 to 30 years out of date, my friend. That's what it is. Audemars Piguet Ultra Slim Movement. This is the AP 2003 movement, and it's got a yesteryear charm to it because it's slightly undersized now. Like the Jaguars, very impractical, wouldn't meet safety emissions, wouldn't meet a lot of things, but it's a classic. It's got a fantastic name, and you'd have to agree, the AP Ultra Slim series fits in beautifully with an E-Type Jaguar. And just classic, classy, and a fucking expensive thing to service. Just like all Jags and all APs. Okay, Vacheron Constantin. We're thinking aristocrat here. We're talking Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud. Yes, it was once the king. Now it's not really the greatest car in the world. But it's pompous and it's regal. And it knows who the fuck you should have your place in society. So there we have it. The Vacheron Constantin Ultra Thin Dress Watch. This is 1960s. Same vintage as this Rolls Royce here. Because the Silver Cloud itself was replaced by the Shadow in the mid-60s. So this watch fits in perfectly with this Rolls Royce Silver Cloud. And as you can see there, I actually have taken the photos on the walnut picnic tables of a Rolls Royce, and fits in beautifully. Yes, double-breasted suit, sir, tailored cuffs, yes, and please bring the roller around the front, sir. And yes, it's pompous, it's arrogant, it says you're old money, not new money, it's old money at its finest. This is what we all aspire to. The Vacheron Constantin. It's a classic dress watch. It's half a year's salary, for fuck's sake, at the time. Just like the Rolls Royce was obscenely expensive, the Vacheron fits in perfectly. Obscene prices. And it's got that yesteryear charm. Beautiful. Beautiful, they just tie in together. It would make anyone else realise their place in society and tell them to stop being so nouveau riche. Look at that spirit of ecstasy. It's just like the Vacheron Constantin cross on the front on their dial. Elegant, understated, and hideously fucking expensive. The Vacheron signifies all the right things to all the right people. And they couldn't get a better piece than that there. The Vacheron Constantins also just as a bit of a side note there, is very, very elegant. It's one of the finest watches at the time. It was above Patek at the time, just like the Rolls-Royce was undisputedly the best car in the world. Both companies in the 70s went through a very bad phase. Rolls-Royce went bankrupt, and it was, of course, reinvigorated by Vickers. And Vacheron model range slid into obscurity in the 70s, 80s, and was only revived by Richemont. So there you have it. The Rolls-Royce, Silver Cloud, and the Vacheron Constantine 18K dress watch. Both beautifully made, handcrafted pieces. Okay, we're talking JaegerLeCoultre. JaegerLeCoultre modern Grand Reverso date. And this is a beautiful steel piece. Wow. He could only drive something flashy and obscene. Aston Martin DB5. Now, why didn't I pick a Bond watch like a sub? Well, it's too fucking passe. Let's be honest. A DB5 owner's got a lot more class than wearing a fucking Submariner, for God's sake. It's a $500,000 car. He'd have to wear something discreet, just pleasant and beautiful. And I can't think of anything nicer than a JaegerLeCoultre Reverso Grand Date. Just oversized, over the top. It's just beautiful. Doesn't need to apologize. Doesn't need to be the most expensive. It is what it is. And if you don't like it, just fuck off. And the JaegerLeCoultre fits in with the Aston Martin. Just absolute class, absolute brilliance. Just absolutely stunning. Look at that beautiful movement. It ties in nicely with that beautiful engine on the Aston Martin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And obviously the owner of this type of vehicle here has many things going for him in life, and a fine car, fine watch, and a fine horde of beautiful women as well would certainly be in tow for this sort of owner here. So that's the Aston Martin and the JaegerLeCoultre Grand Reverso. He could also have a minute repeater Reverso as well, I think, there. Okay, Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak, two-tone, and we're talking classic Mercedes-Benz. We're talking 380 SL, 560 SL. We're talking R107, the classic 1970s. Came out in 72 and went until 1989. Long-running Mercedes, and I don't think it gets any better than a Royal Oak. This is someone who's got money. He's self-made. He's successful in his own right. He's got his own confidence. And Audemars Piguet, the classic Mercedes there, doesn't get any better. It's just class, 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 class. Sports watches, Rolex Explorer 2. What's the ultimate sports car? Can only be an Alpha Spider. That's right. The Alpha Spider, as used in The Graduate. That's right. The Dustin Hoffman flick. And with sports watches, any number of great sports cars. Now, obviously, for a sports car to be a true sports car, it needs to be hideously unreliable and leak oil everywhere it goes. So that's why I've focused on these Italian gems here. Beautiful, beautiful cars, but fuck, you just an absolute horror story to run. And the Explorer 2, of course, is just an absolute classic piece. It's got that charm. Look at that. Put it on a strap. Put it on a bracelet. Doesn't matter. It's classy. It's charming. It's just international man. International man of mystery. And the Explorer 2 fits that to a T. Whether it's in the wilderness, whether he's driving around with the second girlfriend whilst the wife's at home with the baby, he's just an international player. And sports cars and sports watches are two things which go together very, very nicely. And the beautiful thing is, any of these classic sports cars itself, if when the fucker breaks down, you could always sell your sports watch to pay for the repairs, because, a sports watch is very easily turned into cash. And that's the great thing about sports watches. They are so easily sold. If you've got a Rolex sports watch, you can turn it to cash without losing much. When that fucking sports car of yours, when the transmission goes, or when the engine fucking seizes, or any host of mechanical horror stories, and particularly for Italian cars, the electrics will always fucking play up. You can sell that sports watch for ready cash to help you pay for the repair. And that's just a very comforting thing. Explorer 2, look at that. Classic white dial. That's just stunning. And it just goes so nicely with any beautiful, hot-blooded Italian car there. And sports watches, sports cars, well, does it get any better? I mean, the whole point of wearing a sports watch, maybe it's because it's for the man who really wants a sports car, but he's got 3 children. And you can just put on a sports watch to signify that you're sporty. And it just a stunning piece to have with a stunning automobile. I mean, when you're wearing your loafers, it just looks fantastic when you've got the polo top and you've got a beautiful sports watch on. Doesn't matter if it's Rolex. It can also be an Omega Speedmaster Professional. Any classic sports watch is a great thing to go with any Italian sports car. And obviously, when those repairs come in and the horror stories repair bill comes in, you can easily turn that sports watch into cash. And that's great because, let's be honest, the two most important things when you own a classic car are your mobile phone and your sports watch. Your mobile phone to call the tow truck and your sports watch to sell when you need to pay for the repairs. So there you have it. You can very nicely see the correlation between sports watches and sports cars. And nothing is finer. These are some beautiful Italian cars here, and they're just absolutely stunning. Okay, talking class, we're talking a female's watches with cars. Patek 24, it's a lady's stunning piece. What would she be driving? She'd be driving a vintage Mercedes. Oh, look at that. She's a woman of wealth. She's got money. She's a kept woman. Oh, wow, look at that. A Mercedes-Benz 230 SL Pagoda. And a woman getting out of that wearing a Patek 24, you know that she's fucking high maintenance. You know she'd be expensive. You know she's gorgeous, but she comes at a price. And the Patek 24 is just so elegant. Just like the Mercedes-Benz. It just fits in so beautifully. And you know when you see an attractive woman driving one of these cars and wearing a Patek 24, she's a fucking high-maintenance girl. There's certainly no discounts with this one. It's full service all the way. And you just expect her to be expensive to maintain. And just like the car, I don't know which one would be worse. But they both look very nice. When you pull up, you just everyone would just know that it's a high maintenance girl. And the Patek 24, well, I don't think it gets any better than that, really. It's elegant, it's steel, it's with diamonds. The ever black dial just reeks of class. And you could go anywhere with that watch, and you could turn up anywhere with that Mercedes. I mean, obviously, that sort of lady who drives that car, she wouldn't just have one watch. No, what else would she wear? She'd wear something expensive, something Cartier. It would have to be Cartier Benoit. And you know she'd also have a bit of a diamond fling. Yes, it certainly wouldn't just stop at watches and cars. She'd want expensive jewellery. And she'd also want she'd want another Cartier in blue to go with the Mercedes. My God, this woman is expensive. And my God, she'd want also to go with the Mercedes in the blue. She'd also want some grey pearl Self-C to go with the car. My God, this woman is costing me a fortune. And it certainly wouldn't, plastic beads certainly would not do. They'd have to be the finest pearls that money, unfortunately your money, could buy. And 18K Cartier is also a little bit on the expensive side there. But if image is everything, it doesn't get any better than Patek 24, Cartier 18 karat, and Mercedes-Benz Pagoda. And look at this beautiful, stunning car. I don't know what's more beautiful, the ladies' watches here, the diamonds, or the Mercedes-Benz. It's just class, all the way to bankruptcy. And it was fun whilst it lasted, and I'm sure she took good care of you whilst the escapades were occurring. So there you have it, Mercedes-Benz. It's just class. It's just refined. It's just, you've arrived. And that's all that's really important in life, is arriving in the style that you're accustomed to. Mercedes-Benz 230 SL Pagoda and a Patek and Cartier 18 karat. Musty Cartier would not do. No gold-plated pieces of shit, sorry. It'd have to be 18 karat solid gold. And there we have it, the Mercedes-Benz Pagoda Mercedes. Thanks very much for watching this video, and if you like this series, I'll be producing more clips. Tell me what watches you'd like me to review, and I'll correlate it with some cars. And don't forget to leave the feedback. And don't forget to come to my website, www.collectingluxurywatches.com. Thank you.